Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Tuesday, May 7th edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Analysis Show. I am Mark Dankenbring, joined here as always by Mike Gallagher with a couple game ones on tap tonight as we have the Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics tipping off, and then the Dallas Mavericks at Oklahoma City Thunder as well starting tonight. So exciting day when we have new series to attack. I know Mike always loves diving into matchups here. So Mike, how you feeling today, and how you feeling about these game ones on tap tonight?
I feel pretty good. You mentioned, as always, joined. I think I made like every injury show. I almost missed it today. I got a freaking flat tire.
Oh man,
Finished my hike, and saw my pounds per square inch like lower. I was like, oh, probably just need to fill it, and it kept dropping and dropping. I was like, oh god. Luckily, I had enough air to get me to a tire shop, so I dropped my car off like a half an hour ago and just lifted home
oh wow.
to hop in here. So yeah, cut it pretty close, but could have been worse. But nothing like a flat tire when you were already running a little bit late today. But happy I didn't get like stranded on the side of the highway with a flat tire and had to bust out the jack and all that.
For sure. Glad to have you here as always, just because your insight is invaluable. So, very happy that you were able to make it back in time. Help me out here a little bit as we will dissect these game ones and some injury news on both teams and both games here. So, let's start with this Cleveland and Boston matchup. Again, game one here in Boston tonight. The Cavs injury report is the same as we've seen the last few games here. Dean Wade, Craig Porter Jr., and Ty Jerome all remain out. And then Jared Allen is still listed questionable here with this right rib contusion. So Jared Allen missed the final 3 games of the series against Orlando, including that game 7 on Sunday. So interested to see his potential availability tonight. But any insight here on Jared Allen's potential return? And then if he does miss again, how do you expect the Cavaliers to handle the starting lineup against Boston tonight?
Yeah, not great. Some video of I could pop this up here of him like not doing much at the shoot around. So yeah, we know he's been pretty limited. So yeah, this is tough. We saw he hurt himself in game one, hurt himself again. Hasn't been like warming up. Hasn't been really doing anything. Notes that he can't really lift his arm. Talked about it being a safety issue. Seems like he's out again. So I guess they would start Isaac Okoro. We saw them start Marcus Morris. I think that could be on the table, but I think they're going to want to use Okoro to guard Tatum. Done a pretty good job on him on the year. Tatum been coming in pretty cold. One of the hottest jump shooting round ones of any like high end player there. So yeah, I would expect them to go that route unless something changes with Jared Allen. Just hasn't been close at all since suffering this injury overall. And then the rest we kind of know. We'll see Marcus Morris, who got cut down partly because Karis LeVert really bounced back in Game 7 after kind of seeing his minutes dwindle down a little bit. And Sam Merrill had some pretty big shots in Game 7 as well. So those guys could be in the mix. Maybe they go a little bit smaller. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of cut out Tristan Thompson to just play smaller and defend the three-point line a little bit more. We know Evan Mobley will play a ton. Donovan Mitchell gets a tough matchup in the last round and to Jalen Suggs, which he torched, had a 50 and a 39 ball to close him out. But now he gets a combination. They kind of flipped the matchups over the course of the year. It was some Jalen Brown, some Derek White, some Drew. Mostly Drew and Jalen Brown were the two guys. Expect that to be the case here. Probably expecting Drew Holiday to start on Donovan Mitchell. And then Max Strus probably going to have to guard one of the Jays, which is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
As well. So, and then we'll see what Darius Garland could do. Going to get probably Jalen Brown or Drew Holiday. I would expect it kind of to be Jalen Brown. So not great. Garland coming in pretty cold. Looked like he was going to be propped up a little bit, but tough to bet on Darius Garland in the spot.
For sure. Hopefully that corner 3 down the stretch in that Magic game 7 will ignite Darius Garland a little bit and get him into a rhythm, but certainly struggled quite a bit in that series outside of maybe 1 or 2 games in that series against the Magic. But I'm in lockstep with you, thinking Okoro would be the most likely starter if Jared Allen were to miss again. And kind of all reports on Jared Allen is he's still having trouble lifting his arm above his head, kind of doing the necessary basketball activities that you need out of your starting center, and especially defensive anchor, guarding the rim and everything. I think, and it said he initially took an elbow to the ribs, and then it was aggravated like a game later in game 4 by Franz Wagner. So I think just being out there and potentially taking another shot to the ribs is enough deterrent for him to sit out a little bit longer, especially, when you factor in him missing a game 7 just 2 days ago. I'm not sure how much better it'll be for him to participate in a game 1. So agree on kind of leaning that Jared Allen is going to miss another one here tonight, unfortunately. On the Celtics side, they will also be without one of their starting center, and Kristaps Porzingis. He is out with the soleus strain, this calf strain that he suffered against the Heat. We saw the Celtics have one game against Miami in that series where Al Horford started, so we should definitely assume that again tonight. But curious your thoughts on the Celtics rotation as they approach this Cavs series and potential game one without Jared Allen.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We'll see certainly Al Horford start, and then we know their core bench guys are going to be Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, who did overlap a little bit with Al Horford in the last game, and then Peyton Pritchard. That'll be their 8. Probably that's it. Maybe they go to Xavier Tillman for some size, especially if Allen does play, but not expecting really anybody to enter here. 8's certainly cool. We saw even Tibbs go 7 in the second half yesterday. Mentioned Tatum being a little bit cold. Jaylen Brown, expect them a pretty good series. Drew Holiday's been pretty quiet. And should note without Kristaps, the Miami Heat had their best rim performance of the series. So I'm curious to see if that is an impact. Boston's interior defense is awesome. An area the Cavs struggled. They only scored 29 points per game at the rim, which is almost 10 points down from where they were in the regular season. But that was with Kristaps. So could be tough. I think that the rim defense is going to be something that's pretty important here. Overall, but certainly they've got enough firepower without Kristaps. Expecting this to be probably a blowout and hopefully a short series for the minus 2.5 games bet that I took somewhat aggressively.
Yeah, nice. I hopped in on that as well yesterday on DraftKings. It was still minus 170, so hopped in on that as well, betting against my Cavs. But sometimes you have to. But I agree. I don't think we'll see much Xavier Tillman or potential double big overlap unless we get Jared Allen in there, and then we'd have those Mobley Allen lineups that I think that Boston could potentially match up with Horford and one of Cornett or Tillman out there. But I don't think we'll see that if Jared Allen is out. All right, let's head to the second game of the night, Western Conference matchup, the Dallas Mavericks at Oklahoma City Thunder. On the Mavericks side, a pretty big injury to discuss as Maxi Kleber is listed out and is likely going to miss the rest of the playoffs. He did miss the second half of the final game against the Clippers, so we do have a little bit of insight into how the Mavericks will handle this at the center position because, they would like to go small ball with him. So we also do have Luka Doncic listed probable here with a right knee sprain, but obviously fully expecting him to suit up tonight. On Kleber, especially against this Oklahoma City team that is small, do you think the Mavericks are likely to go a full 48 with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, or do you think we could potentially see some PJ Washington center minutes? How are you thinking the Mavs will approach this game one against the Thunder?
Yeah, I could definitely see PJ mixing in. They're going to obviously start who they've been starting with. So that's Kyrie, Luka, Derek Jones Jr. We'll talk about him in a second. PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. And for sure, we're going to get, I would say, minimum of like 42 minutes of Gafford and Lively, who we know that's important. We know how bad OKC is on the boards. These two bigs are a little bit more mobile. Gafford has crushed this matchup as a side note. He's had huge numbers against Chet on the year. So, but he can get cut down, could be attacked, but obviously going in with some momentum. With regards to the Washington minutes, they had, what was it here? I had the number. I think it was like 28 minutes of Washington with no centers, no Dwight Powell, no Maxi, like as with like all wings. So on the table for sure. I think that's something they're interested in. I don't know if they want to do that. I think they kind of like Max as they kind of like PJ as like a wing defender. They've used him on SGA a bunch. So I don't know how they like with the way they use PJ. You're asking like a lot out of Luka to guard kind of big, as well as you're asking some other players to guard in ways they're not too comfortable. So expecting them to be mostly center on the way down, but they could go another way. They could. Josh Green has guarded SGA somewhat well, actually. Josh Green has had decent success at slowing SGA down. SGA's numbers are pretty bad against Dallas, just 22 per game. Light usage, his drives are fine. Shot the ball great. Off drives, it's just a matter of like volume for him overall. So yeah, huge loss in Maxi. I think PJ Washington's got big minute upside. Derek Jones Jr. is coming in as one of the best defenders in the first round, although someone on the other side will have a better case. But yeah, Derek Jones Jr., I would say for sure is going to be the SGA primary. PJ probably guarding J-Dub. PJ has guarded SGA times. Josh Green will pop in there. And then they are getting Tim Hardaway Jr. back. He feels, quote, great, according to Jason Kidd. So we got their starters, Josh Green, Derek Lively, and THJ should be their core 8. We'll see Dante Exum probably sneak in there for a few, but that's kind of where we're at with their 8-man. And Luka Doncic also feels, quote, great, according to Jason Kidd. Probable tag, still not 100%, I would say, but should be fine. And then, Kyrie will probably run into a lot of size here, and J-Dub as well. So excited for this series, which looks like we thought this was going to be the second best series to watch in the first round. Maybe not after what the Wolves did last night.
For real, yeah, it might be on tap to be the most competitive based on how last night went in Denver. Just that shocking loss by the Nuggets, but yeah, exciting series here, and I think we could see a similar kind of game plan that the Pelicans ran out, trying to leaving Gafford and Lively out there and forcing Chet to shoot above the break threes, and maybe if he makes them more, going to a smaller lineup. But I think the Mavs could potentially concede that open look. And keeping those rim protectors there against this OKC team, which loves to drive and attack the basket. Mm-hmm. On the Thunder side, we have a clean injury report here, so not too much to discuss injury-wise, but in terms of their rotation, we saw them go pretty much at least 10 deep in every single game. In the Pelican series, do you expect them to remain that deep? That's kind of the Thunder's MO with going deep into the bench. Any insight here? Or, just game one, they'll probably continue that process and see how it goes and maybe adjust from there.
Yeah, I think that Mark Dagnall, he said he's going into this with kind of an open mind and seeing where it's going to go. I think that if you had to rank, obviously their starters are going to be their starters, SGA, Giddy, Dort, J-Dub, Chet. If you had to kind of rank like who's most important off the bench, I would put Case and Wallace first. They obviously need the on-ball defense in a significant way here to help spell Lou Dort and J-Dub there. Aaron Wiggins, same thing. I think those guys are going to be in there. On-ball defense, by far, your biggest need, and that's where they've gotten spade. They've got 4 pretty good on-ball defenders to throw at these 2 elite Dallas players on the other side. I think Isaiah Joe's still in there, so I feel like that's the 8. The next question is, does Jay Will hold minutes? I don't think he does. I think they're going to kind of go away from him. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go more with Kenrich Williams and perhaps Gordon Hayward. But I feel pretty good about those 8, and then some sprinkling of Jay Will, maybe Hayward, who's been quite bad in this spot. But yeah, Kaysen, if there's any foul trouble on Dort, that would be someone, or Wiggins. And then Wiggins is a better per-minute guy. So you make it actually, I'm sure Dink and I will talk more about how to play the OKC bench. But considering this team is going to go probably deeper than anyone today as far as number of bodies used, that could be something that could be useful for DFS later today.
Sounds great. All right, well, that will do it for this edition of Establish the Run's NBA Injury Analysis Show. As always, we ask for your support in promoting this free content by liking the video and smashing that subscribe button. We are closing in on 5,000 subscribers, which is our goal by the end of the season, and we're just, I think, about 80 away. So if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that. It does help us out a lot here to keep this content free. We also have a new podcast that Drew and Mike recorded talking about round 2 betting opportunities. That is on our YouTube channel, so you can go over and check that out. Some nice production there as well, showing the odds from DraftKings as Mike and Drew talk through the series and some potential bets that they've placed. We mentioned the Boston and Cleveland wager that a few of our ETR team members have done as well. So make sure to catch that video on YouTube or get it anywhere podcasts are found. If you have interest in getting access to behind the paywall content, we have plenty of great stuff from Mike's matchups column, which is now a daily column. Now that we're in the playoffs, Mike and Drew are going through every DFS slate. We had Drew have a big win last night, split the top 100K prize for the big fadeaway. So shout out Drew for that nice win. He talked through all of his strategy and his thought process last night on the show, and we'll do so again tonight with Mike. So be sure to tune into that at 5 p.m. Eastern time behind the paywall. But yeah, that will do it for us today. Appreciate all you guys out there watching along with us. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time with Drew and Mike to handle just a 1-game slate tomorrow as we're in the second round and things slow down a little bit here. So appreciate all you guys out there. Good luck tonight. Hope everyone enjoys these game ones. Peace out.